maybe meanwhile waiting for everyone, I can try to share my screen to see if it could or not. Oh, it seems that I cannot share it. I think you have to.
Yeah, allow.
Like this. He goes. Yeah, but this is not because usually if they like if they're bad like that. But this one is not.
Hello? Zoom, can you hear me? Okay.
Can you see my screen?
Yes. Thank you. Sharing. Okay, so hello everyone, welcome to Crypto Cafe. I'm very happy to have Dung Bui today. So Dung is a postdoc researcher at LIP6 at Sorbonne University in France. She completed her PhD at University of Paris. Her research interest lies in various aspects of both practical and theoretical cryptography, including secure multi-party computation, zero-knowledge proofs, and post-quantum cryptography. So today, Dung is going to tell us about multi-party computations for Boolean circuits. Over to you, Dung.
Thank you for introduction and thank you for having me today. So today I'm gonna present about FOLEAGE. So FOLEAGE is the framework that you can get multi-party computation for Boolean circuit and using the only correlation. So I will get the detail later, but this is I work with Maxime, Sofa, Alan, Clement, and Sasha. So during my talk, if you have any questions, just interrupt me. So we start with some basic background about MBC or like correlated randomness in MBC, because in MBC we use a lot of correlation or the randomness in the preprocessing. So we start with MBC or multi-party computation. So MBC, the way that have multi-party to join and compute the output of function without revealing the private information of input. And so in MBC, there are some common correlation that you may know. So the first that we have oblivious transfer, we have oblivious linear evaluation, and through the talk I can call it early. We also have a vector early, or we have a pivot triple. So in the oblivious transfer, you have let's say now we consider in two-party setting. So you have Alit and Bob. So in the oblivious transfer, Alit have two string A0 and A1, and both have the bit B, and both get the string AB corresponding with the bit that both have, and both learn nothing about the string that the other string that Alit have. And for the early or oblivious linear evaluations, so it's a correlation that Alice, basically that Alice and Bob can get the share of the linear operations, and informally that Alice get the.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, of course.
What is the product dot product that you have there? Is it the component-wise product?
Yes, it's a point-wise product. So you just take the multiple between the x coordination of the x vector corresponding to each other.
So it's the product component-wise, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
So in the early, you have the Alice with the vector u and v, both have the vector delta and w, but like those vector need to satisfy the linear correlations. And there will be a vector early. So vector early is a specific file of early where the vector delta is become one value delta. And so we also have a pivot triple. So pivot triple means that each party will get the bit share, additive bit share of the multiplication operation. For example, like Alice and Bob get the AI, BI, CI, so that if you sum AI multiple with some BI, you get the sum of CI. So in this talk, we focus on early correlation. So keep in mind that this is a secret share of the linear operations, where Alice and Bob will get the share of it. And so how often people use the correlation, the randomness of the correlation to the MBC. So there exists the protocol called GMW protocol. So let's imagine that if they are the chartered party and they come to give X party, so we have N party here. And if X party have the one bit share of the pivot triple, it means that each party in the MBC protocol get the one share of multiplication multiplication operation. Then we can get in online phase, you use GMW protocol and you can get the efficient MBC protocol with the communication coded to 2n over the number of n gate, and it works for n party. So I want to give a bit overview about how the GMW protocol work. So it works like you have one function f and you present it into the circuits. So in circuit there will be the additional and there will be XOR and AND gate. So for the XOR gate, it's free because the way the GMW protocol work will be work by gate by gate. So you first additive share the input, and then for the you get the additive share the X gate inside the circuits. And so for the XOR gate, it's free. Basically, that you don't XOR you the XOR the share together. But for the AND gate, you need one pivot triple to get the share of AND gate. So distributing the share of AND gate, you make one triple. So the problem here that we need the chartered party to give each party the pivot triple in advance. So if you have the way to get the pivot triple in advance, then you can start doing the GMW protocol and in online phase, so you get the efficient MBC. So the problem that how we can generate efficiency the pivot triple here. So the next slide, I want to go over the practical MBC over the log field. So the problem here that we have a pivot triple. We have n party, so n is the number of party, and then m is the number of triple you have. For example, like in the one circuit, m will be the number of n gate in the circuit. So in the pivot triple that we work over the field FQ, and there exists some, there have been a lot of work about how to generate pivot triple, but there exists some work that have the significant improve over the practical MBC. For example, we have a speed, and then speed is based on the homomorphic encryption with the linear communication cost. And we have overdrive. So overdrive get the concrete efficiency. For example, you get 10 to 5 triple per seconds. However, that speed or overdrive, because they are using the homomorphic encryption, so they only available over the large field. Then the remaining question should be, can you generate a pivot triple over small field? And then if you have the way to generate it over small field, can you generate it or distribute it to the each party without dualer? So in the rest of the talk, I try to address this kind of questions. So any questions so far? All good? So I'm going to present about the framework called BCG or pseudo-random correlation generator. So basically in BCG, you have a two phase, you have a two algorithms. The first that you have a Zen algorithm. So in the Zen, you generate the key to X. Now we have a two-party, Alice and Bob. So the Zen algorithm will generate the key to Alice and Bob, and each party get the C, we call CA and CB. So after the Zen algorithm, each party get the C. So now each party will expand the C to get the target correlations. And for formally for security, of course, that you want the privacy. So each party after the expand algorithm learn nothing about the correlation that the other party have. So the only thing you know that the only thing each party know that the other party hold the random string satisfy the target correlation. So informally, we have Alice and we have a Bob. So BCG have a two phase. The first phase is called preprocessing phase. So in this phase, Alice and Bob interact with each other, and then they get but with the only short communication and computation. And then after the preprocessing phase, Alice and Bob stores more C, and then from the next phase is called silent computation. It means that after getting the C, Alice and Bob do the local computation and then get the pseudo-random collected string. And so BCG have two features. The first, that the C can be silently expanded to the long correlated string, and the parties that need to communicate and store short correlated C. So it depends on the what kind of correlation that you want to achieve. But the BCG always follow to two phase. The first, that short communication, and the second, that locally expand the C to get the target correlations. And the state of the art of BCG, we know how to get the target correlation for the oblivious transfer vector early or early. So now let's see the landscape of pivot triple using the BCG framework. So the goal here that you generate the n pivot triple for n party and over the field FQ. So we will see the landscape based on the size of the field. So for the field equal 2, we know how to get the pivot triple over the F2, but the way you get it, that you have to get the pivot triple from OT extensions, and then you base the quadratic communication cost, and then after you get the OT extension for each party, you communicate, and then you get the pivot triple in the end. And there are some number for the pivot triple that get from OT extension. For example, you get 10 to 6 triple per second. However, that because like this based on the OT extension, so basically you need to set up the OT extension between the pairwise party, and then it only work well for the two party setting. And if we go upper to the P equal 3, then we have the work, the crypto 2023 work. It get the pivot triple from early, and with the logarithmic communication code, it means that log n times m square, where m is the number triple that we want, and it gets the 10 to 5 triple per second. And it works for the field that the framework doesn't work for the field that less than 3. So let's say that it doesn't work for the size of field equal 2. And so for the Q large, as I mentioned before, we have overdrive. overdrive have the concrete efficiency, but you pay linear in the communication cost. And we also have some candidates based on BCC framework. With the communication code is a log m times n square from early, but it's only work for the larger queue because like the frameworks based on the choice of the ring and the field of the BCC framework. So in my talk, we try to fill the gap whether we can get the pivot triple over the binary field. It means that F2 and Y maintain the efficiency together with propose the new framework that we don't need to go over the OT extension to get the Q equal to. So in FOLEAGE, we have the FOLEAGE. It means that we get the multi-party computation for Boolean circles, and we get it from the early correlation over F4. It works for the two-party and also n-party setting with the low communication code and low computational overhead. So so the roadmap to get the final goal is that we have a BCZ. We propose the way to get BCZ for the early correlation and over the field F4. Later that we go down from early over F4 to the pivot triple over F4 with the silent for n-party setting. It means that you generate n square early and you get 1 triple over n-party. And from pivot triple over F4, we go down to get the pivot triple over F2, while each party only need to broadcast a single bit per triple. So for the concrete contribution of FOLEAGE, so FOLEAGE work for the both two-party setting and multi-party setting. So for two-party setting, we have some more trick that it even better that I already saw in roadmap. That so now if you have a single F4 early, you can basically get the one F1 pivot triple for two parties silently over F2, and we have a silent preprocessing. It means that you have only you have a logarithmetic communication code in terms of number of triple that you want, and we have a small c, so it thanks to the BCC framework. And for n-party setting, we managed to get the almost silent in preprocessing. We have a low computation overhead, and we have some optimization of independent of interest. And for the two-party setting and n-party setting, we both have a benchmarks and efficiency to show the efficiency of the constructions. So the rest of the talk that I'm going to explain the roadmap, like how we get the BCZ for early over F4 until we get the pivot triple over F2, and then sum up with we get the multi-party for Boolean circles. So let's take a look about the framework of BCZ over FQ for only. So the goal here that you want to generate a lot of early over FQ. And so the idea for this framework is that you take a ring, and the ring will be isomorphic with the FQ, so n copy of FQ, and you generate one early over the big ring R. And so now because like the ring isomorphic with n copy of the field FQ, so you can get many early over FQ. So the original work of to get the early using the BCZ framework come from the Crypto 2020 paper, where you get the BCZ over the ring, and the ring is such that the ring LPN assumption holds. So let the ring LPN assumption mean that you have a ring FQX over the fx, and then fx is split into f is a split, and you have the a is the random over the ring. You have the vector, you have a polynomial e and f random over the ring, but they are the t star vector. And so now the ring LPN say that if you define u equal to a times eu plus fu, you get the random value, or you cannot distinguish between the random element in the ring. And so now the way it works that if you define u equal, so now imagine that you have a EU, EV, FU, FV, and all of them are sparse, and you have a U and V. So if you take the U times V, you get the four term, a square EU EV plus FU FV plus a times EU FV plus EV FU. So the thing that if you want to get the BCZ for Alice and Bob, and if Alice and Bob get if Alice and Bob already have a, for example, if Alice have a EU, FU, and Bob have a EV, FV, so the problem here that it will go down to, if you want to secret share U times V, it means that you need to secret share the cross product of the four term. But like if you can see that in the E and F, all of them are sparse, so it means that you need to secret share the cross product between the sparse vector, and the cross product of sparse vector will be sparse vector. And then now to secret share the sparse vector, we are using the distributed point function. So distributed point function is I will introduce it later, but distributed point function help you to secret sharing the product of the two sparse vector, while the communication got only logarithmic in the m here, the size of the vector. So now to sum up the framework of BCZ for the early, if you want to get one early, you need to for secret share of cross product and one secret share of cross product when corresponding with the distributed point functions.
I have one question. What
Yes.
is Q and what is this capital F? Like is it like a splitting ring?
Capital F. So in the crypto 2022 20 paper, that F is the polynomial.
No, like how does it look like?
So split means that it will have a, for example, here it will have a m root.
Okay, so you need and Q.
MQ is the size of the field.
So for example, if Q is 1 mod 2n, so my capital F is like x to the power n plus 1, where n is a power of 2. So is there any explicit form of the capital of F that they have considered, or it's like anything?
No, it have to have a concrete form. I think that it need to make sure that it have the at least for example, it have to at least m root if you want to get the m correlation.
Okay, okay, like so any capital F of the form where it splits linearly is okay.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, thank you.
But I think that because like F need to be split, so the size of the field have to be large also. So that's why their framework is the choice of the assumption and the choice of the ring and the field is they only get the BCZ over the large field.
And there is no risk, like how big is the Q and N? Like for example, Q is not 2, right?
Q here cannot be 2.
Okay, 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 I see.
But like they add the paper that propose the original framework to get the early.
Okay, okay, thank you.
So I just go over the framework for BCZ to get the early, And because they need one ingredient called distributed point function, so I will go over the distributed point function to see what the technique inside, and then to give an overview about the code, the actual code that to get one early. So how many communication code and how many computation code that we need. So distributed point functions, it come from, it's a kind of function that it come from the function secret sharing. So function secret sharing means that you have a function f, and then it's secret, and then you secret share it into the two bits of functions. And so the function secret sharing need to make sure that, so Alice and Bob will get the two key f0 and f1 equal function secret sharing key. But like from the key, they can evaluation on any value x, and then the correct need to the correct needs. So the secret sharing need to make sure that if you evaluate, if Alice and Bob have the key, the evaluation on any point over the domain, so they get the additive share of the fx. And for security, the key X party have from the key they learn nothing about the secret function f, and the function secret sharing of course need to compact. Compact means that the share of the key need to smaller than input or output side domain. Otherwise, you just need to evaluation function f on any x, and then you secret sharing the older value. So there's no meaning. So it needs to be compact. And then for the ideally the size of the key will be the sublinear compared to the domain. So distributed point functions, we have a distributed point function mean that so let's denote the distributed point function is a PAP. So the distributed point function is a function that you get when you evaluation function on any point, you get 0, except that if you evaluation function on the point A, you get the value B. So you can imagine the output of point function look like the unit vector of the length n, and in this unit vector at the position A, you get the value B, the other position is 0. So the distributed point function allow Alice and Bob to get the share of the whole functions. It means that Alice and Bob get the share of the point A together with the evaluation B, and then they also get the key to, like, when the evaluation they get exactly the output of point functions, but they don't know they don't know about the A and also B value. So for distributed point function, to distribute key, you use the donor set last protocol, and with the communication code is only on, and n is the length of the vector. And so to remark that to get the one early, you need for share the code product, and then now you have a two vector, vector e and f, and both of them are sparse. So if you want to get the code product of two vector e and f, it means that so E have a T span and F also T span. So you cross product, it means that you can get the vector up to T square, and then T square span corresponding with T square distributed point functions. And so in our paper, we base on the framework that we still use the BCC framework to get the early, but we use the different assumption. We don't use the ring LPN assumption, because in ring LPN assumption, you cannot get rid of the requirement that the size of the field needs to be large enough. So we base on the one assumption called quasi-abelian decoding assumptions. And then in this assumption, we are working on the finite abelian group Z, and we are working on the field FQ. And so for concrete form of the quasi-abelian decoding assumption, it say that given the T, the target weight T, and then you have a compression factor C, and then it should hold. This is the decisional version. So in the decisional version of this hardness assumption, it states that if you have a A1, A2 until AC minus 1 random element over the finite abelian group, and if you have a secret E0, E1 until EC, they are the T-star element over the quasi-abelian group. Then the product or the sum of until the complex factor, it means that sum of E equal 1 to the C minus 1, AI, EI, and plus E0, they are random. So the choice of the ring is also the choice of the ring Z, and the choice of the field is a matter here, because like we need to step out of the case that the size of the field is large. So this assumption allows us to work on the small field FQ, and then for Q larger than 3. So in this work, we propose the choice of the ring. We choose the ring FQZ, such that FQZ is isomorphic with the FQ to the Q minus 1 to N. So I already present the framework that you get the BCZ for early over the big field, and then now we adapt the framework to get the exactly BCZ over the F4, and later we go down to the pupil triple over F2. So to framework to get the BCZ over for early over F4. So the ring here, we choose the ring such that it isomorphic with F4 3 to N. So we are working only over F4, and then the ring isomorphic with the F4 3 to N. It means that later we will get the 3 to N early correlations. So to get the hardness assumption hold, we have the public parameter that the element A random over the ring together with EI, FI, the random over the ring, but they are sparse elements. They have only T sparse non-zero. And so the framework starts with you use the distributed point functions to share the cross product. And for the share cross product, now the form of the C will be CA, will be the EU, FU, and EU, FU is the D-star vector together with the share of cross product get from the distributed point framework. And it also corresponding both will get the same form for the CB. And then now from CA and CB follow the BCZ framework, you locally compute U and V and the share of the product between U and V, and you get the early over F4 using the evaluation over the F3N, and the number of only the 3 to N. So let's see how many communication code that you need to pay to get 3 to N early. So for the communication code, so basically we need to distribute the point the vector of length N. We need to distribute the point of the cross product of two vector, two sparse vectors. So we need to pay the t square, because t square is the number of distributed point functions, and we need to pay n, because n is the length of the vector now. And so this is a communication code of the distributed point function that you need to pay to get the C, and then after the C, no communication code required. And then after that, to actually get the 3 to n early, you use the fast implementation with the FFT in the F4G, and then you get the 3 to n early over the F2, over the F4. So I just present the framework together with the communication code, and then the way to get rid of the computation cost for the BCG framework to get early over the F4. So from early over F4, if you have early over F4, then to get the pivot triple over F4, with some basic operation, you silently get the pivot triple for n party, and then with the n square early, you get one triple. So I will skip this kind of step, but that with the paper and pen, you can see that you can get pivot triple without paying any cost over the F4. But like we really want to get the pivot triple over F2, so we need some more steps to get the pivot triple over F2. And the cost here that each party podcast a single bit per triple. So it very Q-trick, but if you see that, so we start with each party have the same multiplication gate, multiplication operation, it called the F4 pivot triple. So A, B, and A times B, so each party get the same of it. And then now if you present the A, B, and A times B, because they are the element over F4, so and F4 isomorphic with the F2 to 2, so you can present it at the A0 plus theta times the same A1, and then B also the same, and you also have the form of A times B. So with the simple calculation, you can see that Alice and Bob not only need to send to each other the single bit of communication code, then you can Alice and Bob can learn the B1, and then after having B1, they can just locally transform their pivot triple over F4 to the pivot triple over F2. And so the code here that each party just only need to broadcast a single bit per triple. So now we know how to get the pivot triple over F2, and the last step that we need to put everything together to get the MBC for the Boolean circuits. So in the preprocessing, as I mentioned before, we are using BCG. So from BCG, we get the n times n squared early over F4. And the communication code is the only logarithmetic in the number in the number early that you want to get. So it's the O log m for each pair of party. And now you can silently expand to get the m pivot triple over F4. And now each party podcast a single bit per triple, and you get the early, you get the pivot triple over F2. And the moment you get the pivot triple over F2, now the rest is that apply the GMW protocol in the online phase to get the MBC for the pooling circuits. So this also conclude the framework that the main framework that my group present, but we also have some optimization and other contribution that may be independent of interest, because it's the optimization for BCG together with distributed point functions. So the optimization for the BCG is the optimization in terms of the distributed C generation, because in the end of the day we want Alice and Bob distribute the C without the third party, and we also since that we really want everything work well with the field F3, so we adapt distributed point function. So originally of the distributed point function, it works like GCM3 over F2, but we don't need F2 here, so we need F3. That's why we need to adapt it construction to the ternary tree. Later we can get the cell of F3 instead of the F2 like the original work. We also adapt the donor-cell protocol. So in donor-cell protocol, this make you a 1 out of 2 OT, but we work on F3, so we make it to fit with 1 out of 3 OT. And then we get some improvement in the number of brown for OT together with the speed up factor and the number of brown. So basically now the trees are the ternary tree. So instead of log 2, the side field round, we get only log 3 side field. So it's the optimization in terms of distributed C generations. And for the BCC evaluation, this is the optimization to speed up the evaluation to get actual 3 to n early. So we have implementation for FFT in the F4Z, and we also the benefit from the standard optimization of distributed point functions. For example, we also have a version that we have a version when we have a regular noise, it means that the error vector can split into the regular form. It means that it will have the called T unit vector, and then it can reduce the evaluation. Because now you know that for the T unit vector, for the T for the X block, you only have only one noise, so you have the domain to evaluation distributed point function is smaller. And we also optimize some, we also benefit some optimization of the original distributed point functions. And we also have other contribution that the first contribution that for the concrete two-party setting, we even don't need to go from F4 early to F4 people triple. We can jump from F4 early directly to the F2 people triple, and you pay nothing for that. And we have the analysis for the attack of the QA of the quasi-abelian syndrome decoding assumptions, because it's a new assumption and it was introduced in the 2022. So we give the concrete form of the attack, and we try to get the security parameter based on it. And we saw that the original paper that proposed assumption neither have some parameter is not good, and we have a concrete implementation, and we also have another optimization of BCZ using the hashing scheme, and it can have speed up the BCZ framework. So did the FOLEAGE and FOLEAGE work for the MBC over the Boolean circuits using the early correlation. We have the paper online together with the concrete implementation for that. I think that also concludes my presentation. Thank you for listening.
Your presentation. If there is any question, feel free to ask. Anyone from the chat? Okay, I have a small question. So, like, why you need this 4? Like, instead of 4, can we go to like 2 to the power k?
I mean, the assumption cannot be whole if you don't go to F2, so you have to go through F4 and then you go down to F2. That's basically that the security of assumption will not hold when the size of the field is the F2.
Not F2, like F2 to the power k, like power of.
But like, then you pay more than that. right? Because like basically you want F2, but like if you have the F2 to K, for example, K is 4, 5, so like you even have to pay more communication code to get until you get pivot triple.
I see. So, okay, it's about the efficiency.
Mm.
I see. Okay. And like also I have a small question. What is the polynomial that you are considering in this case? Like the ring representation.
So here we look to the ring that so I can show the way we choose the ring. So for that, for the abelian group, we choose it the that over 3 that over n, and then the side ring we need to make sure that it needs to isomorphic with the f4 to 3 to n.
Okay, I see.
So we get correlation over f4 and we get 3 to n correlation basically.
Okay. Thank you so much. That's good for me. Any other questions? Okay, if not, so we should thank Zoom for her nice talk on MPC, and so that's what we have. Yeah, do you have any question? Okay. So we end our crypto cafe for the day. So we see next week. Thank you, Zoom. Bye.
So thank you for having me. Have a nice day, everyone.
Bye.